So in this segment, we're going to be discussing Kate Forbes and why she joined a radical church. So this is about the Free Church of Scotland. And some context on the Free Church of Scotland. The Free Church was formed by evangelicals who broke from the establishment of the Church of Scotland in 1843 in protest against what they regarded as the state's encroachment on the spiritual independence of the church and, whatever else that could mean. But they're a bunch of radicals. The evangelical Christians are some of the most radical Christians you will meet, and they are pretty nasty work. I think pretty nasty. You could argue fundamentalist in that context. They really support they support a lot of really weird things. This particular group that are against gay marriage and against abortion pretty fervently. And Kate Forbes' answer for joining them is:
given that you were, as you say, exposed to all sorts of different religions and different churches in your youth, what is it about the Free Church that attracted you, that drew you there? It's not a trick question. I'm just.
It's just down the road. It's just down the road. So it's the closest church. I've always been keen to support the church that was on my doorstep. And as some of your viewers may know, there is a little bit of a Highland-Lowland divide in Scotland when it comes to churches. So
I'm not going to pretend to be an expert on the quote Highland-Lowland divide on churches, but given this Free Church are the evangelical Christians who are the more radical kind, I'm going to argue that she joined them not because it was down the road, as she claims, or about this Highland-Lowland divide thing. I would think she joined them because she probably has some agreement on their beliefs, especially given she keeps claiming that her religion has nothing to do with their politics. But she also said if she was there to vote on gay marriage at the time, she would vote against it. And I think she's pretty against abortions as well. And she's just an all-round gnarly character, I think.
The Free Church, if you really want to know, has its roots in being in ensuring that it was the local people that had the power. And there's been a long history in the Highlands of Scotland, which is where I'm speaking to you from, of the Free Church.
I mean, forgive me, you're obviously someone whose religion and your faith is really important to you and to your life and all of those things, of course. And you really are saying that the reason that you chose the church that you're with now is just because it was down the road. There must be more to it than that, surely.
I hate to disappoint you, but and obviously anybody would be welcome to visit the Highlands. But having lived, I lived just near Dingwall, and it is the church. I mean, I've not made any effort to hide my faith in the 6 years that I've been in frontline politics. Indeed, all my constituents know about my faith.
I mean that's fine. Your constituents know about your faith and blah blah blah. But when you're trying to run the party, it's a lot more than just your constituents who may support your views. Given that they're also in the Highlands area, which apparently support this Free Christian Church thing, which whatever, fine. But when you're trying to run the party and you will be putting your views on the party, let's not pretend that the leader does not put their views on the party. I would say, given your views are quite regressive, I would say that's a bit sus. Her husband's a card-carrying conservative, so she very much is at odds with kind of this version of the SNP, who are quite left-wing and progressive, I would argue. I know it's a broad church, but when you look at the current membership, I think when you look at the current membership wouldn't be the best argument because Forbes has a lot of support, but when you look at the policies the SNP have put in place here, they are a lot more kind of left-wing than the Labour Party or most British political parties. So for her to kind of argue these weird points don't really make sense. Socially, the Scots are also ahead of the rest of Great Britain as well, given their kind of stance on the Gender Recognition Act. So I would argue she makes no sense.
And yet they have elected me on both occasions with an increased share of the vote as somebody they believe that will represent them faithfully and without prejudice. And obviously over the last 3 years, I've been in perhaps one of the most important jobs in government, delivering budgets for all of Scotland's people. So my approach would be to say, look at my track record, look at how I have approached serving all of Scotland, and make your minds up about how I will continue to do that.
I mean, if we look at the fact that she doesn't support the Gender Recognition Act, she said she'd be against gay marriage. Being in government's a lot more than dealing with budgets. It's about dealing with societal problems as well. And I don't really wade into Scottish politics that much. There's a reason for that. But I think given some of the stuff that she's said, and given the kind of excuses she's given, I would be very wary of her as a candidate if I was going to vote. And obviously I get no vote in that. I'm not an SNP member, nor am I that bothered about who the SNP elects. But it always is quite nervy having, when you look at America, they have a lot of radical Christians in positions of power, especially in the Supreme Court. They can dismantle things real quick. It would be very scary to see such a kind of party, such a kind of person take hold of a major political party in a country that is so close to the country I'm in, England. So I'd be wary. I'd be wary of her. If anyone who's in the audience who is an SNP member who's going to vote for her, I'd love to know your reasoning behind it. I'd also question, she talks about her constituents. Did they vote for you because they like you, or is it because you're an SNP MP? MSP. You're the candidate for their local area. Is it really your popularity, or is it down to the fact that you represent the party they most closely align to? And if you deviated from that dramatically as leader, would that change? That's something I'd be interested in. But given the fact that the church she's following is a radical evangelical church, I'd be nervous. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Support the channel on Patreon if you can. And always remember, just because your party's a broad church now doesn't mean it will be when the more radicals take over. Catch you next time.